Hey guys, it's DC here and welcome to the Daily Hack. So the Daily Hack, if you're new here, is my attempt at doing a video slash podcast type of video where I go through CTFs, new CTFs, the leaderboards on TryHackMe and hackthebox.eu, as well as going over a few news stories that are important for the day. At the end of the video, I answer a bunch of questions from yesterday's video. So if you have any questions for the next video, don't forget to leave it in the comments below. So we'll start off with a bit of news. We'll head over to the Kali Linux tutorials website. And there's a news story here that I wanted to read out, which is SSH client worm. So basically it's saying there is a fake SSH client that manipulates the TTY input/output to execute arbitrary commands and upload itself through the SSH connections. To work properly, the remote machine needs a display to display the last login message when logging in. DD and STTY. Target user using bash as default shell. The capability to run the fake SSH binary, writable bash RC, and then to infect the local machine. There's a basic script here of sort of how it works and how you can set this remotely, which I'll leave the articles in the description as well, so you can read them in more depth if you want. But I'll continue here. It just says, now just connect to some SSH server that meets the conditions started for the program to work and the machine will be infected. And the machine's accessed through it too, and so on. So it works similar to the way a botnet works, where it's essentially creating a botnet of vulnerable computers. So it's definitely something to have a look at if you have a Linux environment that you're managing. This is definitely something I would be looking at if I was managing a sort of enterprise Linux environment. Onto the next story, which is from bleepingcomputer.com. Food delivery service in Germany is under DDoS attack. Cybercriminals found in the context of a public health crisis that caused unprecedented restrictions affecting the restaurant industry a perfect opportunity to launch an attack on the systems of a takeaway food delivery service in Germany. The measures adopted by the country to limit the spread of COVID-19 virus have a drastic impact on social life. Restaurants function under strict rules that limit the number of guests and imposes a greater distance between the tables and have to stay close between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. So no nighttime dining. Under these conditions, many Germans order in through food delivery services like takeaway.com. Yet cybercriminals have launched a distributed denial of service attack on the website demanding 2 bitcoins, which is worth around $11,000 US, to stop the siege. So as old school as DDoS is, it's still around. It's still affecting people apparently. And yeah, it's interesting how I guess hackers are taking advantage of this situation where people are working or staying at home and not really leaving and relying more on internet services like this takeaway service. I'll continue with the article here. It says, Jitse Gron, the founder and CEO of Takeaway.com, today posted on Twitter the news of the attack. He attached a screenshot with the attacker's demand that threatened to attack other company sites. Soon after Gron's tweet, the German branch of the company announced that its systems had been attacked and entered into maintenance mode, which is to ensure the security of all data. This could cause delays in order processing, definitely. So basically the DDoS has gotten straight through, it's affected their service and essentially made their server completely useless. And it's just causing havoc, which is, it's a little bit funny that such an old school and sort of attack can make such a difference. But to be honest, if they installed some better rules on their firewall system, or even just had DDoS protection or a load balancer maybe, they probably wouldn't have these problems, or it would at least be a little bit more manageable. So I guess maybe their security budget is going to be increased in the next round. Some customers complained that the service accepted new orders despite its systems being crippled by the attack and they are not being processed. In a subsequent tweet, the website informed that it would refund orders that had been paid online and were not delivered. This would not happen automatically though, and customers would have to contact them via email. This is terrible. So these guys really need to sort this situation out very soon to be able to keep these customers coming back. At least 2 ransomware actors stated that they would stop targeting health and medical organizations. Well, that's nice of them. Hospitals already have enough to deal with, and any downtime they experience can cost human lives. At the time of publishing, Lefrando website was up and running. That's the German name of takeaway.com, by the way. So yeah, pretty interesting. It seems like these hackers are after money. They're not really out there to hurt anyone. They want to make some money off the back of these this massive change in the way society's working. So anyway, on to the next article, which is from networkworld.com. COVID-19 best practices for data center operators. Now, I threw this article in there to basically go on the back of that food delivery DDoS attack. So let's continue on here. Uptime Institute has created a COVID-19 response guide based on tips and recommendations from its network of data center operators and partners. Data center operators are trained to anticipate upheaval due to fires, floods, power outages, and other catastrophic events. The novel coronavirus, however, is sending people in charge of mission-critical facilities into uncharted territory. Data centers and IT teams are typically very good at planning. We plan for normal operations, we plan for the future, we plan for abnormal events. However, very few people have planned for the type of pandemic that we're facing now, said Fred Dickerman, the Senior Vice President for Management Services at Uptime Institute. The Data Center Advisory Organization just released a report aimed at helping operators of critical infrastructure facilities respond to the impact of COVID-19, as well as prepare for future epidemics by refining strategies and procedures. The free report, COVID-19 Minimizing Critical Facility Risk, details recommendations and possible next steps. This is a very difficult but necessary subject, said Andy Lawrence, Uptime Institute's executive director, in a webcast put on by the organization to discuss the industry's response to COVID-19 so far and what needs to happen going forward. It's clear, I think, that this pandemic is going to last many months, possibly longer, Lawrence said. A lot of what we talk about today will form the foundation for probably a class of resilience planning that we are all going to have to invest more time and effort into. Hopefully this is the first stage of that. So the article goes on into a little bit more detail, and I'll post this article in the description as well so that you can all read it. But basically what's going to happen is people are going to have to increase the infrastructure on their networks and in their data centers to be able to take on the, new traffic that's coming into their network from remote, and focus more on a remote networking environment rather than people coming into work and working physically in an office where they have a much better infrastructure. So it's all pretty interesting. It's all sort of happening there, and it is what it is, and I hope it all sort of clears itself up pretty soon. So on to tryhackme.com leaderboards. So today, Icelinks is still #1, followed by Basher, then http.deep in 3rd place. Coming from India, which is awesome to see India in there. Tazwake has dropped all the way down to 4th place, and Nighthawk is in 5th. So it has changed in the last 24 hours since I made my last video, which is interesting to see all these people sort of getting about and getting onto these CTFs. There are no new rooms on TryHackMe, but there is a new walkthrough room for Common Linux Krivis, which was done by Polo Mints. So good on you, dude, for doing that. The all-time leader is still Sherlock Sec, closely followed by Deskgirl, and then Renox in 3rd place. Over on hackthebox.eu, the A-team is still the #1 team with 2,133 points. followed by Donkeys, who are still in second place with 1,989 points. So they're sort of falling behind the number one place here. And then in third place is still the Alpha Poners, who are on 1,968 points. So they're very quickly catching up to that second place, and who knows, maybe in the next couple of days they'll actually take the first place. The Hall of Fame on Hack the Box is still owned by Sam Pretty with 2,043 points, followed by XCT on 1,967 points. A little bit far behind there. And then Snowscan in third place with 1,958 points. There's only a few points in between them there, and we might see that second place get taken by Snowscan very soon. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of days and over the weekend when, you know, this sort of picks up in traffic a little bit. Now on to some questions from viewers. I had a couple of questions in the first video actually that I missed, and a couple in the second episode, which I'll get to now. So Mr. Noodles has asked, are you going to be doing more tutorials? And the answer to that is yes, but they'll be similar to the tutorials that I've been doing before. So more guidance on how to get started and where to sort of go with your cybersecurity career. Mobile phone 7531 asked in the first video, and I'm very sorry I missed it. The question is, I don't have a degree. What is the best way to get into cybersecurity without a degree? If you know of any, thanks. I do know of a way to get into cybersecurity, but it depends on where you are. So if, for example, if you were in Australia and you wanted to get into cybersecurity, you would need two things. One is a couple of certifications, and number two is experience. And the experience can be pretty much anything in IT. So the traditional route that people take here is to go from being a network administrator or a systems administrator or network engineer, systems engineer, whatever you want to call it, and then going into cybersecurity after a few years of working in that job. The certifications you would need is the CompTIA Security Plus and the CompTIA Network Plus or a CCNA. The 2020 version is perfect. And those two certifications should definitely get you a job in security after doing something like network engineering, for example, with that CCNA. Usually people sort of jump that way, and you don't really need a degree to become a network engineer or a sysadmin. You just need to have sort of worked your way up from working at maybe a managed service provider or MSP, or perhaps even working on a help desk in an organization. The last question was from One Knight, who said, how can you tell if your computer is being mirrored or Wi-Fi hacked? I ask because I live in a second floor corner apartment and people in the alley outside get close to my building and with their phone can see what's on my monitor. I've looked out of my window and seen their phone screen. It's beyond creepy. How can I block this? First thing, change your Wi-Fi password, definitely. Make sure that it's, got a decent level of encryption, not like WEP encryption, because that can be hacked in about 2 seconds. For them to mirror your screen, they've probably installed something on your computer, and whatever they're doing is illegal. So yeah, that's I don't know how you let them in. Usually I'd probably run some malware tools on your computer as well, like Malwarebytes, or a virus scan would be quite useful as well. Yeah, it sort of depends on what sort of security you've got on your computer and on your network to how they can get access to your network or your computer. So without knowing too much about it, I'd say they probably hacked your Wi-Fi or your computer directly. Anyway, that's it for today's daily hack. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. If you have any questions for tomorrow's video, leave it in the comments below and I'll get to it in tomorrow's video. And yeah, let me know what you think about this new setup. I've moved everything around again, and I'm much more comfortable here because I can actually use my keyboard and mouse and switch between my screens and everything. It makes it easier for if I ever want to do a live stream of the daily hack. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, please do subscribe for the next video and I'll see you there. Catch you later, guys.